Drifting Classroom by Kazuo Umezu, who is one of the most prolific horror creators of all time, is similar to The Lord of the Flies, except much darker. The environment is just as important as the characters in this story, and both were developed extremely well. It's a survival story, but it takes place in a school, and the characters are all kids, which makes it all the more disturbing. The story starts with the usual school shenanigans, but this all changes when things take a turn for the worse. When everything outside their school mysteriously disappears, these kids now find themselves fighting to survive in a terrifying desert wasteland. The Drifting Classroom is a horror classic, but has elements of mystery and sci fi that keep things interesting as well. Even though it's an older series that was first released in the 70s, it's one of those manga that never get old because it's such a well written and detailed story. It's one I recently recommended in my best horror manga video, so it goes without saying it's one I recommend, but what's the best way to currently collect it? Right now, you can collect the Drifting Classroom in English via the paperback singles or the hardcover perfect editions. The singles collect the series in 11 volumes, while the perfect editions collect it in 3, with the first two hardcovers being 4-in-1s and the final being a 3-in-1. When it comes to price, most of the singles are out of print, so the only way to fully collect the series is through aftermarket sites. Amazon occasionally restocks a few of the singles, but right now a lot of them are currently unavailable. Prices for the singles can really vary, but I have seen full sets go anywhere from $100 to $130. On the flip side, the perfect editions retail for $34.99 each, and you can often find them on sale. At retail, the whole set would cost around $105. So while the prices for both editions are pretty similar, the singles fluctuate a lot, sometimes going for over $130, making the perfect editions the more stable and cost-effective choice right now. When it comes to size, the singles are the same size as standard paperback manga releases, while the perfect editions are the largest edition at 5.75 by 2.1 by 8.25. To give you guys an idea, the perfect editions are the same height as the Junji Ito releases. I have a video coming soon on Junji Ito's works, by the way, fitting because one of Junji Ito's biggest influences is Kazuo Umezu. They also fit nicely on the shelf next to My Name is Shingo Perfect Editions, which were created by Kazuo Umezu as well. Quick side note, the My Name is Shingo Perfect Editions are beautiful with their metallic and glossy details. As for shelf space, both editions take up about the same space on the shelf, but the Perfect Editions do save some space even if it's ever so marginally at zero point 0.3 inches or so. The design is where we start seeing some major differences between the two editions. The singles feature individual cover art, mostly showing the kids running around and yelling, which they do a lot in this series, with these amazing backdrops. The settings in the Drifting Classroom are incredible, so I'm glad they showcase them. The colors used for the logo and artwork on the singles are bright and vivid, especially on the spines, which really pop. I personally love how they look overall. The Perfect Editions, on the other hand, focus more on highlighting the environments of the Drifting Classroom. They have textured and raised details on the covers, including the text, which gives them a more premium feel. The covers themselves have this soft, almost untextured paper feel, but sturdier, of course. It's hard to describe, but they feel really nice in hand. I also like how the logo is slightly offset on the covers, and the white text against colors like maroon, mustard, and burnt orange looks great. On the spines, the logo and volume number are positioned lower, creating this downward effect similar to what they did with Goodnight Poon Poon. Overall, they look and feel really high quality. Design-wise, I like both for different reasons, so it's all going to depend on your preference here. The biggest differences, however, really show when you open up the editions. The print and page quality in the Perfect Editions is noticeably better than the singles. The pages in the Perfect Editions are matte, while the singles use paper with an eggshell texture. Since the singles are older and the pages tend to yellow over time, losing their original off-white color, which makes the Perfect Editions stand out even more. Overall, the blacks in the Perfect Editions are deeper, the midtones are clearer, and you can see much more detail. In the singles, some areas are so dark that the details get lost, while in the Perfect Editions, everything is sharp and easy to make out, especially in panels like this one. So if you're looking for the edition with the best page and print quality, the Perfect Editions are the clear winner here. Next, let's talk about the translation, sound effects, and lettering. The translation in the Perfect Editions has been completely overhauled. Almost every piece of dialogue and text has been updated, which is pretty common with re-releases like this. The sentences flow better, the wording is more natural, and overall it just sounds and seems more accurate than the singles. The lettering has also been updated. It's more readable and looks cleaner, especially the sound effects. Speaking of which, the sound effects have been retranslated and feel more accurate to what's happening in the panels. They kept the same sentiment in the singles and the same context, but improved everything to sound and flow better. In terms of readability, the singles are easy to read as you'd expect. The Perfect Editions, on the other hand, are thicker, with two being 4-in-1s and the final being a 3-in-1. They have a sewn binding which helps, but they can feel a bit unwieldy, especially at the beginning of the volumes. However, once you get further into them, they become easier to read and they're not too heavy, so they're still comfortable to hold during reading sessions. There is some gutter loss at the start of the foreign ones, but it's not bad enough to be a real deal breaker for me, especially considering the higher print quality and improved translation of the perfect editions. As for extras, the perfect editions did add chapter pages, but aside from that, there's nothing new. I will say that the first paperback does include an About the Author page with a lot of information on Kazuo Umezu, which I was surprised they didn't include in the perfect editions. Other than that, though, everything else is the same aside from the updated chapter pages. So now that we've gone over everything, what's the final verdict? In my opinion, the perfect editions are the best way to collect the Drifting Classroom today. They have better page and print quality and improved translation, updated lettering and sound effects, and they are hardcover. Even though they're similarly priced to the singles, you get a lot more for your money with the perfect editions, especially with their updates and the fact that they are a hardcover edition as well. That said, I do love the design of the singles with their vivid colors and overall look, but after reading and reviewing them in hand, the perfect editions are just better overall. I really hope more people check this series out. The Drifting Classroom is one of my all-time favorite horror manga. If you're looking for more recommendations, be sure to check out my best horror manga video I recently posted, and let me know what you guys think of these editions in the comments below. Also, if you're a horror fan, stay tuned. I have a Junji Ito video coming soon where I'll go over his series, which ones I recommend for beginners, and more. That's it for the video, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you all next time.